Alright, hello, welcome back to Unqualified Analysis. We got NFL for you today. Week 4 of the NFL all wrapped up, all in the books. And boy, am I excited to get into it. It wasn't the craziest week of games by any stretch of the imagination, but once again, not a bad week at all. There were a couple of very eye-opening games here, and, a couple that we wish we would have closed our eyes for. But I am your host, Caleb. You can find me on the Twitters at CalebVUA. Down there in the bottom, right-hand corner. Forgot what corner it was for a second. That's my app. You can go hit the link in the description, and it'll take you right to the old Twitters. All that sort of stuff. Go do it. Share the podcast, like, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. Any hoozles, though, we have got ourselves last episode before, a little week-long. I wouldn't call it a siesta necessarily. It's a work trip. We'll be back, though. Don't worry about it. Don't cry. Don't cry. I'll be back next Friday. That's what we're working with here. Let's just get into week 4, and let's enjoy it, folks. Let's just go ahead and enjoy it. So we're starting off. We'll just go. Let's just do a quick survey of the land. Maybe there's one that's not popping into mind just yet. There wasn't a whole lot of, absolute stone cold classic games here. There was just, a couple solid ones all throughout. So yeah, we'll just go chronologically. We got stuff to hit in basically all of them. So we'll try and get this thing nice and snappy and get you out of here in a reasonable amount of time. Not trying to go like an hour 45 like I did, I believe, on the last NFL episode. So in the interest of that, should probably stop talking with the preamble here. Let's get into it. So, Cowboys went on the road to the Giants, and man, this final bit, the Cowboys won 20-15. If you remember back to last week, the line on that was 5.5. So, close margin there. If you bet on the Giants, you're in the money for sure. However, if you bet on the Cowboys, you are not, and it's extra painful or extra glorious depending on what perspective you fall on in that one. That on a kick by, right now the best kicker in the NFL. Justin Tucker's kind of fallen by the wayside for now. He's having one of those slumps that kickers have. He'll be back at some point, but right now he's not the best kicker in the league. Brandon Aubrey is that guy, and with the spread on the line, to go up 8 points and get Cowboys bettors the win. Brandon Aubrey, who has been automatic since he entered the NFL last season, misses one wide left, I believe it was, preserving the win on the spread for the Giants bettors. And that's just got to be heartbreaking. Heartbreaking if you're betting on the Cowboys. But at the same time, if you're betting on the Cowboys in this game, I think you're kind of a lunatic, because this Cowboys team is just not very good at the end of the day. And then they're going to get worse because now I believe DeMarcus Lawrence suffered a foot injury in this game. I think plantar fascia doesn't require surgery. The bones aren't out of place, so very painful. Yes, he's going on the IR, but he should be back this year because he won't have to get surgery on that. Maybe it's Liz Frank I'm thinking of. It's either plantar fascia or Liz Frank. I don't really know. So now that they're out him, the rest of the defense hasn't played great most of the year. They played all right in this game, but you're facing the Giants. It's a one-man team with Malik Neighbors, who did get a concussion in this game, by the way. You hope to see him back out there next week if you are a Giants fan, or really just a fan of football in general. So that's one to monitor. But Malik Neighbors is basically the only guy that can beat you on this offense. So it's not the biggest shock in the world that the Giants only scored 15 points. The Cowboys only scored 20. And the strength of the Giants in this game matched up with the big weakness of the Cowboys offense in this game, and that's the defensive line going against the offensive line here for the Giants and Cowboys respectively. And you could tell in this one, you could tell it was bothering the Cowboys the whole time. Only one sack in this game, but sorry. I guess only 3 QB hits. I'd like to see the hurry and pressure numbers. Only one 1 sack. So maybe I'm giving the Cowboys a little bit too much credit here. Maybe the Cowboys just suck. I mean, I'm telling you, it very much showed up on the running game here. Granted, you're running out a duo of Rico Dowdle and old Zeke Elliott at this point, so the options aren't fantastic. But if you have a solid offensive line, that shouldn't matter too much. They don't. They have a very bad offensive line, which is the first time I've really seen this from the Cowboys. Probably since that, I think they had like a 4-12 year, 1 year under Wade Phillips when I was just a wee boy. That's probably the last time I remember. Really, since Tyron Smith came into the league and he was the Cowboys' left tackle, Cowboys have not had a bad offensive line since that moment. So it's been a long time since we've seen an offensive line this bad. If they don't have a good offensive line, and they really don't have a receiver that they can go to on a consistent basis outside of CeeDee Lamb, and I'm talking tight ends, wide receivers, all the like there. What does the offense have to offer you? I mean, really, it's just Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb trying to make something happen, because you're not going to get consistent production from the running game. You're not going to get consistent receivers outside of CeeDee Lamb unless someone really steps up out of nowhere at this point, and I don't expect that to happen. Really, most okay defenses, especially if you have a good defensive line, should be able to keep this Cowboys offense mostly in check. I mean, they're just not a very good team offensively, and that's before you even go over the defense, where you have no linebackers, really. Eric Kendricks is not the Eric Kendricks of the Minnesota Vikings. He's the Eric Kendricks of the Dallas Cowboys, and I love the player. He's one of my favorite Vikings of all time. But sometimes age catches up to you. Well, all the time age catches up to you at some point, and it seems like it's catching up there for Eric Kendricks in this whole thing. So, I mean, I don't hate the guy, obviously. I hate this defense. It's not very good. And especially with DeMarcus Lawrence now going out too. And of course, everything I'm saying is being disproven immediately as soon as I look at the box score. Eric Kendricks had 13 tackles, so he wasn't bad. Also, again, Giants offense. So face off against a real offense in this league. No disrespect to the Giants, some disrespect to the Giants actually. You go up against a real offense in this league, and they're gonna have some things to say to old Eric Kendricks. And I don't even know who the other linebackers are on this team. It's thin there in the linebacking core. Now that DeMarcus Lawrence is out, Micah Parsons is really the only guy that you're expecting consistent production from, and trust me, offensive coordinators know that too. So you're about to be seeing some wild pass blocking schemes for just Micah Parsons, and that's going to really hamper the Cowboys, I would say. I mean, I just don't really like anything about this team outside of the quarterback, the wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons at this point, with all the injuries that have happened, with position groups underperforming. I just don't. I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure the Cowboys are a playoff team. I mean, you'd have to look at the schedule and see what it's going like coming up. But I don't know. Just the way this team is playing, I don't feel like they're a playoff team. And if for some reason they do sneak in, they're a quick exit in the first round, in my opinion. They're just not very good. I mean, the Giants, good on you. You fought hard. I think I hit on most of your accolades. I don't need to keep stating the obvious. We all know the elephant in the room here. Just go ahead and do yourself a favor. Watch some Carson Beck highlights. Trying to think who else out there. I mean, Jalen Milroe, not looking bad. He's draft eligible this year. Hey, maybe you roll the dice on that. For the sake of Jalen Milroe, I sure hope you don't. I'm trying to think who. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, if that's your cup of tea, hey, maybe he shows some improved leadership throughout the course of the remainder of this season, and he is a bona fide top end of the first round sort of quarterback. Who's to say? I mean, Garrett Nussmeier is pretty solid, not quite as mobile as you would hope, but hey, pretty solid. That's what you should be focusing on right now if you're a New York Giants fan. Also, Malik Neighbors. Go watch yourself some Malik Neighbors. He's absolutely electric. He's everything as advertised so far. He has been more than worthy of unretiring the first jersey to ever be retired in the NFL. More than worthy of that so far. He's been, for my money, the best player on this football team as a rookie, stepping right in. So, hey, there's some stuff to look forward to. Just maybe not most of your team. So, yeah, Good luck, Giants fans. Okay, so now that we've bloviated about that particular matchup that I really shouldn't have talked that long about, that's way too long to spend on a Cowboys-Giants game. We'll move on here. Saints at Falcons. Saints win this one in a close one. Younghoe Koo walks it off on a 58-yard field goal to win this one 26-24. Fairly high-scoring matchup based on the history of this one. So, I mean, this is just a classic Saints-Falcons sort of matchup. Drama till the very end. I'm not sure. I mean, you kind of just throw the evaluations and throw the record books out whenever this matchup pops up. I mean, these teams know each other so well. It's one of the more underrated rivalries in all of the NFL. Weird stuff just happens in this matchup, and it's always fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not taking a whole lot away from this. The Falcons needed that win. Getting to 2-2 feels a whole lot different than falling to 1-3. I'll tell you that right now. So, hey, in this division, once again, I'm not really sure. It's better than it has been in the past, but I'm not really sure there's a particularly good team in this division. I mean, as far as contenders are concerned, I don't think there's a contender in this division. It behooves the Falcons to get to 2-2. The Saints have got to be kicking themselves if they drop this one to not go to 3-1. But yeah, this is what the division's going to be all year, and I can't wait for the second matchup in New Orleans of this game. Book it. Every single time it's on, it's usually must-watch television in some way, shape, or form. So that's my evaluation of that. Also, we got Rams at Bears. Bears get themselves a much-needed win. Again, that's another scenario where 1-3 feels a whole lot different than 2-2. The Bears get the win in this one, 24-18. They take care of business. The Rams are just so... I don't want to say bereft of talent. The fact of the matter is that the talent is just injured right now. I mean, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, the entire offensive line pretty much. There's just a lot going on right now. And I mean, this is just gonna kind of happen if you're the Rams right now. That's just, sometimes the injury bug bites you and there is simply nothing you can do about it. You just hope the guys that are on IR and out get back soon. Because I don't know, you can't keep losing like this and expect to make a comeback and go to the playoffs. So they're going to have to hope for health quickly here. Without that, though, it's going to be a long Rams season, depending on how long it takes for people to get back. I mean, your leading receiver was Tutu Atwell. Your second leading receiver was Jordan Whittington, who not at Texas anymore. I mean, he was a grizzled veteran at Texas before he found his way into the NFL. I think he is a rookie this year. Shockingly enough, I feel like me and him were in school at the exact same time, and it's wild to think about there. But he's your number 2 leading receiver in this game. It's bad right now with Los Angeles. Just focus on Kyren Williams, man. Kyren Williams is a really good running back. I'll tell you what, he's done a lot of wonders for my fantasy team so far. Imagine having him and Saquon Barkley. Your boy's eating. Absolutely eating. I mean, eating the W's left and right. We're just hoping that continues. 3-1, baby. 3-1. But no one cares about my fantasy team or yours for that matter. I mean, hey, Kyren Williams looks great. Do you have a whole lot outside of Kyren Williams? No? Not particularly, but hey, Kyren Williams, good player. Good player. As far as the Chicago Bears are concerned, Caleb Williams still doesn't look good. I mean, especially with how Jaden Daniels is balling out there in Washington. And boy, we're going to get to him. Incredible. We're going to get to him. Don't you worry about that. I mean, with the way that he's balled, though, on the other East Coast there, you got to be a little bit concerned. You're not overreacting at this point. Obviously, he's a young player. People progress at different rates. I still think he's not playing terribly, and he's showing incremental improvements. But, I mean, 17 for 23, 157, 6.8 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown accounted for. It's not what you were hoping for when you drafted him and had all those weapons around him. I mean, granted, it's looking like the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, was not exactly what you were hoping he would be. But still, you expected with stuff around him that he would be able to produce a little bit more right out of the gates, and that's not been the case. So, A lot of that is due to the offensive line, though. I mean, another 3 sacks in this game. He's been assailed from the moment that he stepped on the field this season. The offensive line's a big disappointment for me this year. I mean, it's bad. It's legitimately bad, and I don't really. There's no fixing it this year. Is the main thing. So, I think the Bears might be a little bit worse than I thought. Isn't that right, Riley? Bears, those stupid Bears. They're not very good. They're not very good. I mean, I'm sure there's good Bears fans out there, so I don't want to besmirch anyone's character. Sorry, my dog is getting her episode, every episode check-in. I guess that's what we'll call it. Okay, dog. Go on, pup. Go on, pup. All right. All right, so, yeah, the Bears, you have some worries, but at the very least, this is an improvement. It's not Caleb Williams' best statistical game, but he's getting more efficient. He didn't turn the ball over in this game, which is big. I mean, if he can just kind of learn to live with the offensive line, kind of find ways to work around it, get better connections with the receivers. I mean, that's still a work in progress right now. If you can just do all that, just consistently improve, I think you're going to be cooking down the stretch here. You're going to want to improve in division play, though, man, because the North is nasty. Absolutely disgusting this year. The Bears are right where they have been for a very long time, which is the last place team in the division right now. If not in record, then at the very least in level of football team. They're going to face an uphill climb to get a playoff spot if they don't show some consistent improvement throughout the course of this season, because there's zero gimmies in the division. Every single team, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, all are playoff caliber. All of them, I would argue, are possible championship contender caliber right now, and the Bears are just sitting there in fourth. I would argue that in many other divisions, they'd have a little bit better path for sure. I mean, if you just plop them into, say, the NFC South, I think they might be cooking with gas, honestly. I mean, I feel like they'd have a little bit more wide open route, but the North is nasty right now. So you have to improve, and you have to improve quickly if you're the Chicago Bears, just to keep up with your competition going forward. We'll see if they can do that, but right now you're going to need some better returns from the guys that you brought in. I'll say that much. Okay, I need to get a quick sip of agua at the moment. Not agua, it's Gatorade. Not sure you noticed by the voice there. Boy's nursing a little bit of a cold, so if I start coughing and hacking uncontrollably, I apologize. I apologize. Easy for me to say. With that said, though, let's just start rolling through some games here. Of course, I got to stop on the very next one because, I mean, the Vikings went on the road to the Packers. They were up 28-7 at halftime, man. Your boy, I can't even lie. I'm not even going to say I was giddy because I was on pins and needles in this game. But you know what? I'm happy. Up 28-7. I'm feeling good. Life is fantastic. Then the second half happened. No score in the third quarter. You're feeling good about that. The fourth quarter, the Green Bay Packers, thank God the Vikings had a cushion because as me and every Vikings fan likes to say, there's no lead too large to cough up for the Vikings here. So what do? They cough up the entirety of the lead. I mean, the Vikings were outscored 22-3 in the fourth quarter by the Packers. Just a torrid comeback in this game. Ultimately, though, thankfully for your boy, crisis averted. We get a stop late. The rally stops at 31-29. The Vikings get the win. They improve to 4-0. Jordan Love, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 389 yards passing in this game. I feel like there could be some criticism levied saying, the running game was working to a certain extent. You're down so much, you have to pass at that point. But, 19 rushes to 54 passing attempts. I don't know. I guess at that point you put the game in the hands of your quarterback, but you could have, mixed in a few more runs there. Josh Jacobs was running efficiently in this game, 5.7 yards per attempt. He just only got 9 attempts in this game. Jaden Reed, by the way, he's turning into a real star. 7 receptions, 139 yards, 1 touchdown in this game. He's had a habit of getting those little rushing attempts too. He only had 1 in this game for only 2 yards, but we saw it. I mean, in week 1 against the Eagles, he broke a long one. I believe he scored the first touchdown of that game on an end-around sort of play. So that's another added wrinkle into this offense, especially with Christian Watson being out. You love a guy like Jaden Reed stepping in and providing a little bit of explosive versatility within this offense. The Packers, proved to me that they're still absolutely legit. Nothing wrong with that. They just faced up against a Vikings team that is, look, man, it's early in the season. We're through the first quarter, though, which is when teams start revealing who they are. They're 4-0. Sam Darnold had another 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 9.8 yards per attempt passing the ball. The defense, for 3 quarters, played out of their minds. Don't know exactly what happened in the fourth quarter. I'm going to chalk it up to Jordan Love being spectacular, though. This is a legitimately championship-worthy, contending sort of team. And it's not really something that I said... you could probably go fact check this. I'm sure at some point in year 1 of Kevin O'Connell, since they had the record that was so good, I was saying, okay, maybe we got something cooking here with this team. I feel like I was pretty realistic about that, though. There were serious defensive flaws. The offense was fine enough, but at some point you're going to face a solid offense in the playoffs, and they're just going to dice up that Ed Donatell defense. And that's exactly what happened with the New York Giants. And kudos to us. I think we killed the Giants as a franchise because they've been awful from that day forward. I digress, though. Outside of the early portion of last season before Kirk Cousins got his injury, and there was really only a 1 or 2 week span where I thought this, where Kirk Cousins was playing MVP level football. I've not felt that the Vikings were a legitimate championship contender. Not at any point in the Kevin O'Connell tenure. It's legit this year, man. It's absolutely legit. All of the free agency pickups that the Vikings had this offseason have hit. With the exception of J.J. McCarthy, because he's an unknown commodity given the injury situation. I feel like you hit on the early draft pick in Dallas Turner as well. Did he show up on the stat sheet? Am I going to look like an absolute ass once again? He might have been injured. Who's to say? But the players that you brought in free agency-wise, they've all been big-time impact players. I'm looking at Blake Cashman once again leading the team in tackles in this game. Jonathan Grenard, where is he at? He had 5 tackles in this game, 1 QB hit. Thought he had a sack, but maybe I was messing up there. Josh Metellus is a freak. Andrew Van Ginkel's been very, very good this year. Pat Jones has been a revelation. I did not think he was nearly as good as he has shown so far this year, showing me something that I did not honestly expect from him in the pass rushing category so far this year. He's been a joy to watch. Really, the roster is just loaded at all levels this year, and all Sam Darnold has to do is keep playing within the structure of the offense, and eventually either you can just say, fuck it, Justin Jefferson's probably going to come down with this because it's not a 50-50 ball. It's like a 75-25 ball in most scenarios where you're throwing one up to Justin Jefferson, or just wait for a guy to get open and try not to shoot the team in the foot in the in-between period. It's really, this team is, it's the best one that Kevin O'Connell's had, and I'm really excited to see where they go going forward. They're a legitimate championship contender, bar none. No holds barred. They're a legitimate championship contender. Let's just, pray for injury luck. That's the one thing I see that could derail this right now. Man, I cannot wait to see what happens when TJ Hawkinson gets back. That's one just waiting in the wings for both my real team and my fantasy team. You can pat me on the back for that draft pick if you want to. Some might say I'm a genius. I wouldn't. Some might. I wouldn't. That's just not the type of person I am. People are saying it though. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. Let's get this thing moving a little bit. We got the Colts beating the Steelers 27-24. Kind of a shocker. Actually, really solid game from Justin Fields in this one. But I mean, the Colts got up 14-0 in a hurry, and the Steelers just aren't built to score like that. They turned it on a little bit in the fourth quarter, scored 14 points, but then the Steelers defense got tired, and Joe Flacco was slinging the pill out there. And yes, you heard that right. Joe Flacco did come in this game. I believe the injury status for Anthony Richardson was a hip injury. Maybe there's an ankle component, a shoulder component, a concussion component. I don't really know. All I know is he was out for the last portion of this game. And buddy, if you're not going to be able to stay healthy, we can't win with you. That's the bottom line there. They got lucky in this one because Joe Flacco is still an absolute monster out there throwing the pill. But, they're not going to be so lucky in the future. If Anthony Richardson's not able to stay out there. And frankly, if Anthony Richardson's not be able to become a better passer, this draft pick's not going to work out for him. So you got to figure that out, man. You simply have to figure that out. You have to find a way to stay off the injury report. It's the only way that you're going to be able to lead this team to any sort of consistent success. Let's not be discouraged by the Steelers' defense, though, man. They're still very, very good. They ran into an absolute juggernaut, a buzzsaw in Joe Flacco in this game. Let's not knock them. Let's not knock them for running into greatness. This is just what's going to happen. This is just what's going to happen when you're facing up face-to-face with the pride of the DMV. That's, the pride of Delaware. That blue team over there. I forget Delaware's mascot, but we move on. Another forgettable game. It became a point of amusement for me at points to keep track of the Broncos-Jets because I wanted to see how long Bo Nix could spend time with his stat line, his passing stat line, being negative yardage. And it was a long, long time. Let me tell you that right now. It was, I believe, the entire first half. He was in negative yardage, spent portions of the third quarter in negative yardage before he eventually, found his way to crest the Mendoza line, if you will, if that Mendoza line was the was zero. This whole thing, boy oh boy, this was a stinky poo-poo garbage game. I mean, Bo Nix still wasn't good. He threw a touchdown, but threw for 60 yards on 2.4 yards per attempt. Hey, he's Drew Brees, according to Sean Payton. Whatever that's worth. A lot of bad quarterbacks in this draft this year, man. It's not been fun to watch. Hey, we're hoping J.J. McCarthy becomes one of those dudes, though. All right. Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good in his own right in this game. I mean, the Denver Broncos defense has actually played fairly well this year, and they can continue that trend in this one. Aaron Rodgers only 24-42, 225, 5.4 yards per attempt. To his credit, he didn't turn the ball over, but he didn't account for a touchdown either. And by the way, the Jets, I don't believe, scored a touchdown in this game. They rushed for 2.8 yards per carry. Like I said, throwing for 5.4 yards per carry. They were an inefficient offense. And to a large degree, I think that falls on the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers. Obviously falls on the shoulders of Nathaniel Hackett. If there's one thing we know, Robert Saleh ain't doing shit for the offense. So, I mean, I guess you can take him out of the equation, but that's also an indictment of him along the way. And, I mean, let's not forget, a big difference in this game, I would say, is that Bo Nix has been sacked 0 times in this game. Aaron Rodgers got sacked 5 times. And that offensive line was supposed to be improved from last year, but it seems like they're not that much better, all things considered. So that's something you got to worry about if you're a Jets faithful. 2-2, I still think they're going to get better. The defense is still solid, though if the offense doesn't start coming along, the defense is going to get tired and they will no longer be playing solid, despite the fact that their personnel is, in fact, solid. This is... it's a work in progress for the Jets. I'm not writing them off just yet, but they have not been coming along like I thought they would. And, hey, keep staying like this for too long, the drama's just around the corner with the guy that they got at quarterback. Broncos, congratulations for going 2-2. You still might have one of the worst teams in the NFL. Credit to you for winning, though. 2-2, nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all. I think the Eagles stink. Buccaneers win this one 33-16. Eagles go on the road and get absolutely shithoused. Now, to be fair, everyone is injured for the Eagles right now. I mean, Lane Johnson is out. Top two wide receivers are out. You were trotting out and hoping for major contributions from Johnny Wilson in this game, which I'm fascinated by his potential. But right now, not the guy that you're wanting to be your third receiver at the moment. That's not fantastic. And then on the other side, your defense got torched. I mean, Baker Mayfield continues his solid play to where this might just be who he is now. I mean, I'm happy for him for ultimately continuing to be not bad. That's the best thing I can say. He is not bad at all. He's a solid NFL quarterback. He threw for 347, 2 touchdowns in this game. Mike Evans, once again, 8 receptions, 94 yards, a touchdown. One of the more consistent players of this era. And the Buccaneers, hey, 3-1. Sitting at the top, all nice and pretty, all alone in the NFC South right now. They're the cream of the crop. I don't think they're that much better than the rest of the division, but they are well within pole position to go ahead and win this division once again. Eagles, you got to get this figured out, man. You simply got to get this figured out because this is not good right now. This is really not good. Luckily for you, the rest of the division kind of stinks outside of, shockingly, the Commanders right now. So you have a chance. It's a slim chance, but you have a chance. Okay, I need to keep sipping this liquid here. And I need to get through the rest of these games because at some point my voice is going to just crap out. I can feel it coming. Okay. The Bengals get a much-needed win after going 0-3. They beat the Panthers 34-24. Cashed that one. I think it might have been the only one that I cashed in the NFL slate. The NFL slate really fucked me on Sunday. I'll tell you what. I was feeling good going into Sunday. I mean, 4 wins to 2 losses. We were riding high. Nothing could stop us. And then 1-4 in the NFL. It's 1-3 in the NFL. It's just brutal. Absolutely brutal, but I digress. Got a win here, though. Got the over. Bengals get the win, though, 34-24. I don't think they're a very good football team, but when you have Joe Burrow, at the very least, you can beat bad teams. So that's something to look forward to. The Bengals defense is still a disaster, and the Panthers should still continue starting Andy Dalton. I think he gives you the best chance to win, and they look not embarrassing with Andy Dalton. So keep throwing him out there. I think that era with Bryce Young is over at this point, barring injury to Andy Dalton here. And maybe it's good for Bryce Young to sit. I don't think playing him continuously was doing any good for him. So, good to sit behind a real professional starting quarterback. So that's all you can really ask if you're the Panthers. Texans just sneak away with a win, 24-20 over the Jaguars. Hey, you never count out division football, man. Hey, I lost on this Texans team. Lesson learned. You just don't bet on AFC South games sometimes. And this was a spot that the Jaguars, different type of jungle cat, ultimately needed, and they didn't get it. They're 0-4 now. They're, I guess, in pole position to get the number 1 overall pick. They're bad. They're really, really bad. Everything about this team has been horrendous so far. The defense is very bad. Who would have thought that just ignoring the problem in the secondary and going out on the market and getting some wide receivers would lead to a terrible secondary? Not Trent Baalke. That's who. Not Trent Baalke. But don't worry. It's not his fault. He'll find someone to foist this blame on, and his name is Doug Peterson. Although Doug Peterson, still low-key, threw some shade, decided to... He didn't throw anyone under the bus. There's no one to blame, but Press Taylor is the offensive coordinator, and he called a great game. Not throwing anyone under the bus, though. But Press Taylor was the one calling those offensive plays in great fashion. Again, in great fashion, he's calling the plays. So, hey, who's to say where the blame lies here? That's essentially what Doug Peterson did. Very sly. Very, very sly. Not really, though, because I think most people picked up on the subtle dig at the offensive coordinator. By the way, who has the power to take the play calling duties from him? That's you, big guy. That's Doug Peterson himself. You have the power to, do what brought you there, calling the plays. And I think the offense would probably be helped by that, but that hasn't happened yet. I don't know what salacious material that Trent Baalke has on the cons here, but I assume he's still going to be the GM going forward, and they're going to hire a new head coach that's set up to fail because their GM's a bozo. That's the main thing with the Jaguars. Until they get a GM that's worth a damn in there, this is what the Jaguars are going to be. They're going to have a couple up years here and there, but mostly he's going to pick the wrong guys in the draft. He's going to focus on the wrong things on the roster in free agency. And you're just going to ultimately regress to the median of being mediocre to bad. So, if you're looking for a head to chop, Trent Baalke, folks. Trent Baalke. Figuratively, by the way. We're not trying to go full French Revolution on this thing. Let's talk about the Commanders, shall we? They go on the road to the Arizona Cardinals, who have been very disappointing to me so far this season. But let's celebrate the Commanders, not denigrate the Cardinals in this one. The Commanders got a win here, 42-14. Jaden Daniels, man. If there's one thing you take from this game, Jaden Daniels is the absolute real deal. Through 4 games, he's thrown, I believe, 82% completion percentage. I believe that's the highest in NFL history for a 4-game stretch. He's playing out of his mind. He had another rushing touchdown in this game. That's 2 total touchdowns accounted for in this one. The offense is playing spectacularly right now. Cliff Kingsbury is in his bag. I mean, Brian Robinson continues to show that he's a workhorse back. He got 100 yards in this game. You got 4 touchdowns on the ground in this one. Jeremy McNichols had 2 touchdowns in this game. I mean, 216 yards on the ground, 5.8 yards per attempt, and 4 touchdowns. They were dominating on the ground in this game. Obviously, they loved that matchup and then just decided to press on it constantly. They were balanced, though. I mean, 30 passes to 37 runs. They were a balanced football team in this game. And look, man, if Jaden Daniels is going to be playing like this and the NFC East is going to be as bad as it has been, are the Washington Commanders going to be a playoff team this year? I mean, this is beyond my wildest expectations so far for the Washington Commanders with what has happened. I thought they would be better than they were last year, but I still thought that they would be on the outside looking in on the playoffs. I mean, they might be running away with this division right now, just depending on how the rest of this season goes. Now, it is only through 4 weeks. Things happen after 4 weeks, but through 4 weeks, they've been the best team in this division, and they have the best quarterback in this division, I would say. I mean, obviously, Jaden Daniels is going to fall back to the pack a little bit. He's not going to be throwing 80% completion the whole season, I assure you. But if he keeps playing roughly to this level, I mean, the ceiling is the roof for the Commanders. And by the ceiling, I mean, or by the roof, I guess I mean probably like second round of the playoffs. They're not going to win a championship this year, man. Don't put that on them. They're a much improved football team, more so than I thought, but they're not a championship team this year. They might be a playoff team, might win a game even. Not a championship team, but where they're looking like they're going, you got to be just ecstatic if you are a Washington fan. So kudos to them. Jaden Daniels is much watched television, and I'm going to keep watching it. I'll tell you that right now. Cardinals got some shit to figure out, man. I mean, I guess at the very least, Kyler Murray didn't turn the ball over. That's a plus. He wasn't very good also, though. So you got some things to figure out. Your defense is bad. Your offense is inconsistent at best. Drew Petzing, what are you going to do, brother? What are you going to do? I am rapidly, my voice is rapidly deteriorating right now. I might have to cut this thing short, but we're just going to keep powering through this, man. We're through like more than half the games, I'm fairly certain. So we'll just keep it moving. Yeah, we're on the home stretch. Fight through it, you big dumb bitch. Wow, that was very condescending to myself. But, whatever. 49ers beat the hell out of the Patriots, 30-13. The Patriots are so bad. They're so bad. And, thank God that you can just plug basically any running back into this Shanahan run scheme, and they're going to be a star. Because Jordan Mason still had 123 yards in this game. Juwan Jennings, once again, stepping in admirably for Deebo Samuel. He has 3 receptions for 88 yards. Goodness gracious, I'm dying. Colds are bad. Colds are bad. It's getting to cold and flu season, folks. At least it's what I'm telling myself. So yeah, 49ers, they're 2-2. They're a very injured football team. They just got to hope to survive. And also, Christian McCaffrey has double Achilles tendonitis. That's Achilles tendonitis in both Achilles. I don't know if he's going to play this year. That's bad. That is incredibly bad. I don't know if you risk playing him the rest of this year because it becomes easier to tear the Achilles or rupture the Achilles if it's got tendonitis. Do you really want to risk the health of your franchise running back, the guy that makes the offense go, essentially, especially with Jordan Mason playing the way he is? I don't know if Christian McCaffrey is going to play the rest of this year, man. That's just a friendly PSA for me to you out there, fellow fantasy football players. Don't be putting in any outrageous trade requests for Christian McCaffrey. And if you're a Christian McCaffrey owner, you try to get as much as you can for him because I don't think he is coming back right now. And that could blow up in your face spectacularly. So take it with however many grains of salt that you want. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Christian McCaffrey's coming back. I don't think you risk it if you're the 49ers. I mean, you could completely, maybe not end Christian McCaffrey's career, but you could completely torpedo his athleticism if he comes back and has a severe Achilles injury. I mean, I hate to laugh because it's not actually funny, but in a dark way, wouldn't it be, it'd be kind of hilarious if he tore both Achilles at the same time. It'd be sad, for sure. In a very real sense, it would be sad, but if we're talking like slapstick comedy, I mean, that's just like straight out of a dumb comedy movie where a guy is your star player, like a Seal Terry from that one movie whose name escapes me. I think maybe it's Division 3. Forget the movie. There was a player named Asil Tari who was ACL tear, completely bent his knee out of shape in the very first snap of the game. He's supposed to be your great quarterback, your great player, great wide receiver, whatever. Don't let Christian McCaffrey be your Asil Tari, okay? Don't be risking it in this season. It would be kind of funny. Look, again, I don't want him to be injured, but in a slapstick way, a guy tearing both his Achilles at the same time, you can't tell me. Like, if we go like 15 years down the road after, the emotions have worn off, I think we can all generally agree that would be hilarious. Not in the moment, but eventually, that would be pretty funny. That being said, yeah, just remember the words that I say. I think I have a pretty good inkling they're going to be wise, prophetic even, going forward. The Raiders beat the Browns 20-16. The nasty man is still nasty. He goes 24 of 32 for 176 yards and a touchdown. Whoopee. Yeah, he still threw an interception. He still stinks, and you still should probably start Jameis Winston there. I mean, Gardner Minshew wasn't exactly doing much either. I mean, this is just a sad matchup between sad teams right now. And also, Devontae Adams just said, I guess the wording wasn't specifically that he was requesting a trade. It was just he would prefer that he be traded somewhere. So, not a trade request, but a friendly suggestion that he be traded somewhere. The vibes are bad with the Raiders right now. They're bad. They need a quarterback real bad. And, maybe it's in the long-term best interest of the team if you lose a bunch of games this year and get in position to draft a quarterback. Just a thought. Just a thought for you. At least you're not the Cleveland Browns, though, man. Whew. They are tied to a really bad quarterback. You have no commitments in the world, pretty much. You got one more season. You have to pay Gardner Minshew, and then you are just you're golden, pretty much. So, yeah, it could be worse. You could be the team you just beat. Huh? All right. Alrighty, so we're just going to keep it moving here. Chiefs beat the Chargers 17-10. Big news coming out of this game is Rashee Rice on an interception by Patrick Mahomes. Rashee Rice was going for the tackle. He gets friendly fired by his own quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who unfortunately dives into Rice's knee. Rice has got, it's believed to be an ACL tear. They're still doing tests to determine the extent of the damage from what I understand. But it's an ACL tear. He's done for the season. And lo and behold, thought this receiving core would be better coming into the season. But Sure, Xavier Worthy is still there, and he's fine enough. I'm not sure you want him to be your number one, but that's your number one right now. You were You were expecting Hollywood Brown to be there. He's probably done for the season with that shoulder injury, so you never even see him step on the field, essentially. You're expecting Rashee Rice to step up big time, and to his credit, he did. He was a bona fide number one receiver on this team to start the year. He goes down with an ACL injury. So you're right back to, you still have Xavier Worthy, but Sky Moore, no more Kadarius Toney, I suppose. Justin Watson. I mean, Travis Kelce even has obviously lost a step. I mean, age is caught up with him. He's going to probably be looking for the exit here at some point. I think he'll probably play out this contract and then kind of ride off into the sunset, I would imagine. But he's obviously lost a step. He's slower, but his quarterback is still Patrick Mahomes, and he is still a crafty veteran tight end who is one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. There's an argument that can be made for that. So he's still able to get open, but you're not expecting big-time games from him. You're just expecting the chemistry with the quarterback to win out in that one. Chiefs 4-0, man. Is their quarterback still Patrick Mahomes? Yup. Is Chris Jones still on the defense? Yup. Are they still solid everywhere else? Yup. Is Steve Spagnuolo still the defensive coordinator? Yup. They're the favorites until proven otherwise, folks. I don't care what the receiving core looks like. We saw him last year with a legitimately bad receiving core win the Super Bowl. Now, don't get me wrong. After all the injuries and the attrition, this receiving core is worse than it was last year, which I did not think was possible. But boy, oh boy, have I been proven wrong. They're going to have to trade for a receiver, I feel like. And lucky for them, one seemingly just became available on the trade market with Devontae Adams. Now, do they have the cap space to do that? We'll see. But boy, if they can pull that off, they're still better than everyone else in the league right now. And Chargers, hey, you were hosting. You put up a good fight. Jim Harbaugh made it the rock fight he wanted it to make, but ultimately the Chiefs is the Chiefs, man. They get the win 17-10. This was a shocker. Obviously, me betting on the Bills, I thought this game would go a lot differently, but turns out Vegas was right in spades even. Ravens win this game against the Bills 35-10. I should never bet against the All Blacks for the Ravens. The black on purples, actually, if you will. The black on purples night game, that's just a losing environment to go into if you're the Bills, man. You didn't have much of a chance in hell. And, Derrick Henry made sure so. He had 199 yards in this game, featuring the longest rush in Ravens history, 87 yards for a touchdown in this game. I mean, really, to start things off pretty much, he just went to town, essentially. Boy, oh boy, this Ravens team, still very much in it. They stumbled out of the gates, but boy, I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't have to really do much in this game. He still goes, accounting for 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground, doesn't turn the ball over. Well, yes, he did. He lost a fumble in this game, but no consequential turnovers in this game. Also rushing for 54 yards, 9 yards per carry in this. I mean, he's every bit of the MVP Lamar Jackson that we know and love from him. So this is just, the Ravens are very much in the thick of things in this division. And really, outside of them, I mean, I guess the Steelers are the cream of the crop in that division right now. I mean, if it's coming toe-to-toe between the Ravens and the Steelers, unless the Steelers' defense is all-time great, give me the one with the MVP quarterback. How about that? The Ravens still, maybe not in pole position right now, but basically the entirety of division play is ahead of them. They're going to have every opportunity to go out and win this thing, and they are still very much in the mix in the AFC as far as contenders go. Buffalo Bills, don't worry about it, man. It's your first loss. You've been dominant in all the other games. Just try not to string these together. That's the main thing going forward. Don't take too much from this loss, though. These things happen. When you run against the black on purples, you're just going to get steamrolled. It's something you just simply can't control. Saddest game of the week. The Titans beat the Dolphins 31-12. Tyler Huntley led this game in passing yards with 96 yards passing. And really, that's all you need to know about this game. It was awful. I wanted to pour bleach in my eyes watching this game, and I only tuned into it sparingly. I mean, once that Lions-Seahawks game was on, we're going right back over to that game, and we're not even thinking about the Titans-Dolphins. The Dolphins are a diabolical football team. Just terrible. I don't know what it is about this offense where it's just impossible to score points if Tua Tagovailoa is not your quarterback. And I get that the offensive line is terrible. I get that you legitimately don't have a starting level quarterback. But isn't that kind of something you should have addressed in free agency? I get it. You brought in Mike White. I apologize. White Mike to be your backup quarterback, but he's not there anymore. Skylar Thompson is the full-time backup there now. And then you're bringing in guys off the street to start. How can you just not have a backup plan if your often injured quarterback goes down? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And once he does go down, I expect more from Mike McDaniel as far as this offense goes. I've slowed my roll, I suppose, on Mike McDaniel's offensive genius, offensive guru, because I get that you're limited right now. You have very little options at the quarterback position, but even so, you can scheme around the offensive line if you have a good enough scheme. Kyle Shanahan's done it for years, quite frankly. They have not invested a whole lot in the offensive line outside of Trent Williams there, and they've been, best running game in football that entire time. And coming from that scheme, being that run game coordinator, having this, guru moniker slapped on him, you expect more from that running game if the quarterback goes down. Yes, I know you're running into loaded boxes with a bad offensive line, but you still have a really solid stable of backs here, man, and they're just not playing up to par. I don't know, man. This Dolphins team is just diabolical. Just poo-poo stinky garbage. And, I don't really know. I don't know where you go from here. I don't know if Tua comes back this season. I assume he's going to try, and the Dolphins are probably going to let him. What's his future beyond that? I don't know. But the Dolphins, especially with Jalen Phillips going out for the season in this one, seemingly tearing up his knee, brutal. Before you even get Bradley Chubb back, Jalen Phillips is already gone again. So we may never see that duo play at the height of their abilities, which is just a shame, unfortunately. But the Dolphins are just in a rough spot right now. Just a rough spot. Maybe they can get some wins in the division, but they're just not very good this year, unfortunately. And to cap things off, we have got the Seahawks at the Lions. And once again, this was just bet the over every time these teams play, man. Every single time, just bet the over. It's gonna hit. This time, the Seahawks lose 29-42 to get handed their first loss of the season. Lions are 3-1. They're absolutely legit. Geno Smith led this game in passing yards, but we got to give kudos to Jared Goff in this one. Really, Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown for throwing to Jared Goff. But Jared Goff in particular went 18 of 18 for 292, 16.2 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and of course no interceptions because, didn't throw any incompletions in the game. This was, maybe one of the best performances by a quarterback in Detroit Lions history. I don't think that's really much of an exaggeration there. And then, of course, on top of that, I forgot to even mention Amon-Ra St. Brown on a little, trick gadget play at the goal line, gets a throwback to Jared Goff for a perfect throw and a touchdown there at the goal line to ultimately seal up the game, I would say. So just an all-time great game from Jared Goff. Amon-Ra St. Brown was also all over the field in this one. Jameson Williams broke off a 70-yarder right out of the gates in this one. So a lot of scoring all around, man. We love to see it. We truly do love to see it. Seahawks, don't be too discouraged. This is a tough road environment. Obviously the defense is still a work in progress. Maybe, you're facing off against Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was in his bag. It happens. DK Metcalf is still spectacular. Ryan Grubb has shown a penchant for second half adjustments in his offense. Still, Geno Smith playing solid. Kenneth Walker had 3 touchdowns in this one, so you got to be happy with that. And he was versatile in all areas of the field as well. Excuse me, that was disgusting. I apologize. 7 yards per carry, by the way, on the ground. And I get a lot of that was in garbage time, relatively speaking. But, hey, kudos to him, man. That's pretty kick-ass. So, yeah, I mean, nothing to really worry about if you are the Seattle Seahawks in this game. You're still 3-1. You're still in a division that is very injured, and I believe you're still in the lead in that division that is very injured. So, not looking bad in year one under Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald's looking as advertising. So is Ryan Grubb, and I just think it's only going to get better. So, chin up, kids. Chin up. You're going to be all right over there. You're going to be all right. Detroit, they're a problem. They're a problem. Everyone in the NFC North is a problem right now, and that's a problem to me. Okay, that's a real problem to me. I forgot to pull up the Week 5 NFL odds lines for wherever I go to do that. So give me just a minute to pull that up, and then we'll get a preview next week, and then we'll get you on out of here. Making good time, too. Making good time. So, with all of that said, yep, I'm out of drink, so I'm going to have to do this horse, like a horse. I'm here all week. Okay. All right, so now we got it pulled up. Get all markets. So, yeah, let's just, let's go down the sheet here. I've got a couple bets that I'm adding. Last week we started, we had a little offensive on the board, okay? We attacked it aggressively, and ultimately the results were not in our favor. We were repelled, not definitively repelled at the lines there, but we were repelled, okay? And we're licking our wounds this week, waiting for another opportunity to attack. So, 5 picks this week. 5 picks. Looks like we got 3 in college, 2 in the NFL. So let's just get through the NFL slate here real quick. But you know what? First, let's hit the bets off the top that we're going on in college. So we already locked in Clemson minus 14.5. I believe that's still widely available. So go on and get that while you can. I might have bet that too early, but actually I feel like it might have moved to 15.5. So hope you moved early because it might not be there anymore, or it is. I really can't remember at this point. Also in the college ranks, we're going Pitt minus 2.5 at UNC. I don't know. I mean, Pitt's just a better coached football team. And I think their talent is fairly similar. I think Pitt's just going to win convincingly in that one. So I know they're on the road at North Carolina, but give me Pitt in that game. And then we got Air Force. No. We got Navy at Air Force, actually. And you're going to have to move quick on this one because it already might have moved, honestly, from when I took it. But Navy minus 9.5. Against Air Force. Navy's been very, very good this year, and Air Force has been god-awful. And I think Navy... they're going to run up the score in this game, I believe. So, minus 9.5, give me that. Give me that all damn day. So, that's what we got in college. In the NFL, let's just go down the slate real quick and see what we got for you. So, we're starting off with Buccaneers-Falcons. 1.5s across the board in favor of the Falcons. You can get over-unders. It's 44 in most places. You can get a 43.5. You're looking at that over in FanDuel. That'd probably be my lean, frankly. Banged up defense for the Buccaneers. Not the greatest defense in the world for the Falcons, so that'd probably be my lean in this game. I'm not betting that though. No real lean one way or the other. If you're gonna back me in the corner and make me pick, I guess I'll take the Falcons. Thursday Night Football primetime spot. Give me the Falcons, I suppose. I'm not betting it, but give me the Falcons. Also, we have got. On Sunday morning in London, mate, I'll be watching them on the aeroplane. Jets, not at the Vikings. They're in Wembley, I believe, but they are in London playing this game bright and early, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. Pretty much 2.5s across the board. I don't know what this Hard Rock of Ohio is doing here. For whatever reason, they have the Jets favored by 3.5. Which is a longer line than the Vikings are favored by literally everywhere else. So I don't think that's real, but 2.5s across the board pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the spread is concerned, obviously give me the Vikings. I just think the Vikings are a better football team, frankly. But, I mean, even so, I mean, I'm a fan. I'm going to lean the Vikings. But even my objective brain says the Vikings here, they're just a better football team. And I believe this is the best defense they're going to have faced all year. But they're still very, very good offense. Weapons coming along. Sam Darnold, a little revenge factor against the Jets. Obviously, he's already played them again before. But, it's got to feel extra sweet every time you do it. So... yeah, I like the Vikings in this one. Over under 40.5. This Jets offense is stinky. I ain't betting on it over any of them. I guess I'd probably lean the under in that case then. Um, Then we're on to the 1 o'clock games. Dolphins, Patriots, -1 in most places. You can still get a 1.5 in favor of the Patriots over at FanDuel for whatever reason. There's pretty solid juice in your favor too. No. If you're looking to bet the 1.5, the -1.5 for whatever reason, you can go there. But if you're looking to bet the +1.5, that's probably where you want to go. I'm kind of stupid. I apologize. This is just a garbage game, man. I mean, Patriots, just give them to me, I suppose. The Dolphins are hapless right now. And the Patriots are pretty hapless too, but seemingly less hapless. I don't know. I'm not betting it, but give me the Patriots -1. Over under 36.5. I'm not betting the under because that's so low, but you're a real sicko if you're betting the over in this game. Panthers at the Bears. You can get 4 most places in favor of the Bears. It's 3.5 over at FanDuel if you're looking to bet on the Bears. That's probably your best bet on that one. I guess probably I would lean the Panthers in this game. They've been feisty. The Bears haven't come out of the gates hot. Panthers offense has been much better since Andy Dalton took over. My real lean here, and actually one that I added to the card, is the over 41.5. I just don't think I think the Panthers offense is going to score just enough, and I don't think the Panthers defense can stop the Bears offense in this game. And I believe they just sustained another injury. I think Shaq Thompson went out for the year after this game, this past game. So, I mean, I just think the Bears are going to have a get-right performance offensively, and I think the Panthers are going to score just enough to hit that over at 41.5. So, lock that in there. That's my first NFL bet of this week. Colts at the Jaguars. Looking at the history of this matchup, it's going to sound crazy, but I don't know the last time the Colts won a game in Jacksonville. I don't think they won one last year. I could be wrong on that front. But I'm looking for the streak to continue. I'm looking for the Jaguars to get a win here, and -2.5 at FanDuel. Give me the Jaguars. I'm not betting on it, but hey, man, if you just look at the historical trends, I was in high school the last time that the Colts won a game in Jacksonville. Take that for what you will. Just do with that information what you need to. Over under 46 in most places, 46.5 over at FanDuel. I don't know. I don't know if I trust either of these offenses, but I certainly don't trust either of these defenses. So staying away from that, I guess I'd probably, lean the under. Things get weird in divisional play, but no bet there. Bills at the Texans. This should be a good one. Bills are favored by 1 in most places. You can get a 1.5 over at FanDuel if you're looking to bet on the Texans. A lot of juice on that, though. So if you're willing to lay the juice, go right ahead. How I feel about this game, honestly, is, it's going to be a huge litmus test for the Texans. I'll say that much right now. It's really going to be a big litmus test for both of them. I think we kind of think the Bills are for real right now. But the Texans, we're still seeing, ups and downs. They got smoked by the Vikings before they got that bounce back win last week. I don't know. I don't know, man. I guess I would lean the home team on this one. C.J. Stroud and the boys. I think Nico Collins is going to eat against that secondary, and Stephon Diggs is going to clean up as well. Really, really solid group of receivers they have there with the Texans. They're showing up as advertised so far, albeit a little inconsistent. So I guess I'd lean the Bills there at +1.5. Not the Bills, the Texans there at +1.5. Over-unders 47.5. It might be a fun over to take. If both these quarterbacks get going, it could be a real show. So, for the fun of it, lean the over on that one, 47.5. Ravens at the Bengals. Ravens favored by 2.5. Now, this one, borderline to qualifying as a bet for me. I'm still kind of here or there on the over-under at 48.5. I tend to stay away from the overs in AFC North football, excuse me. Give me the Ravens -2.5. I'm not betting that, but that's my lean on this one. Give me the over at 48.5 over at FanDuel. And you can get pretty good range between 48.5 and 49. So, or 49.5. So shop around, I suppose, depending on what you want there. Okay, so keeping it moving. Browns at the Commanders. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Right now, I'm looking at this Commanders team. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. We're taking the Commanders -3. You can get a -3 in, it looks like FanDuel, Caesars, and Bet365. Also ESPN Bet. It's all juiced at -120 right now though. So get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot. And I'm gonna lock that in right now as we're talking about this right this second. Hold please. Hold please. You give me just 1 second, okay now? Don't you cough, you son of a bitch. Ugh. Okay, so I mean we're in the Caesars app right now. All we gotta do, and this is gonna be real easy. We're gonna look up Commanders, Washington Commanders. That's the real one we're looking at here, and then we're gonna go Washington Commanders versus the Cleveland Browns. -3. Lock it in. And there we go. It's placed. It's on the bet slip. Okay, so we got 6 picks then. We added in the Commanders over the Browns. That wasn't so bad, was it? That wasn't too bad at all. Okay, so obviously I think the Commanders are a much better football team than the Browns. I just think maybe the Browns pass rush causes some problems for Jaden Daniels, but Deshaun Watson stinks, man. He's so fucking bad. 43.5 the over-under. Guess lean the over, I suppose. I don't feel very good about that, but lean the over. Raiders are at the Broncos. Broncos are favored by 2.5, 3. It looks like it's moving towards 3 in a lot of places. I guess give me the Broncos because the Raiders are a bad offense and they're going to be out Devontae Adams this week, so give me that. Over under 36 in most places, 35 if you're a sicko and want to bet the over. I guess lean the under, but that's a really low number in this game. This is going to be a stinky poo-poo garbage game. My shoulder hurts. Cardinals at the 49ers. It's 7 in most places. You can still get a 7.5 in favor of the 49ers at MGM and FanDuel. Yep, those are the 2 you're looking at there. Okay. Sorry. The Cardinals have just not been very good. They've just not been very good. I feel like they're frisky. I guess I would lean the over at 49.5, which you can get that across the board pretty much. And I would lean the 49ers at -7. Yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Giants at the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 6 in this game. You get a 6.5 if you're trying to bet the Giants. I don't have a great feel on this game. I guess it kind of depends if Malik Neighbors plays. If Malik Neighbors plays, that 6.5 doesn't look too bad, especially with how the Seahawks have played at times. A little bit of inconsistency, especially looking at that Denver Broncos game in Week 1. But if Malik Neighbors doesn't play, give me the Seahawks at -6. I feel good about that. But without that certainty, I'm going to take a step back. And I'll probably stay away from this one. Over under 43.5. Probably lean the under on that one, honestly. Seahawks offensive line is banged up. Giants offense is just terrible in general. I think that's a recipe for a little bit more of a lower scoring game in this one. Packers at the Rams here, also at 425. Packers favored by 3 in this game on the road. I definitely lean the Packers in this one. Over under 48.5, I lean the under in that one. I just don't know how many points the Rams are going to score in this game. And maybe the Packers score enough to where it doesn't matter, but I definitely lean the under there at 48.5. Cowboys at the Steelers. This is our third NFL bet of the episode here. We're going Steelers -1.5, and you can only find 1.5 at FanDuel right now. So you better get that one while it's hot. Everywhere else is at 2.5. So give me the Steelers at -1.5. I just think they're a better coached football team, and this is the type of game that Mike Tomlin wins. A flawed Cowboys team. A good defense for the Steelers, a ferocious pass rush and pass rusher in TJ Watt, an offense that can run the ball down your throat for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the Steelers in this game. Give them to me -1.5. That's already a bet that's been placed. Over under 44 in most places. You can still get a 43.5 over at FanDuel in this one. I still probably lean the under. I think that the Steelers just play that type of bully football. Their offense is not good enough. I think they'll probably lean the under on that one, but that's not really a bet for me. And last game of the week, we got Saints at Chiefs on Monday night. It is minus 5.5 in favor of the Chiefs across the board. 43.5 on the over-under. And I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from this Saints offense. They go up against defenses that give them, a decent bit of trouble, and all of a sudden they can't move the ball. They're inconsistent. I don't know. I'd lean the Chiefs at minus 5.5. I think they're obviously a better football team. But hey, maybe I don't bet this because maybe the Saints show up and they, show some flashes of those 40-point performances that they showed out of the gate this year. So I just don't know. I lean the Chiefs, but I'm not betting that. I would probably lean the under, honestly, on the 43.5. Chiefs got no receivers. The Saints offense against the Chiefs defense is not a favorable matchup, I don't think, for the Saints offense. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of points scored in this one. So lean the under on that. And with that said, that's all for today, folks. Let me just chalk in that last commies -3 versus the Browns. And with that said, that's one bet. We also have one more time rolling through this. We got Clemson minus 14.5 at FSU. FSU, bad football team. Pitt minus 2.5 at UNC. Steelers minus 1.5 versus the Cowboys. Panthers, Bears over 41.5. Navy minus 9.5 at Air Force. And, of course, the Commies minus 3 versus the Browns. So, with that said, that is all for this episode, folks. That is it. That is it for the next week. I will not talk to you until probably next Friday night, I would say. So, you guys enjoy your week. You enjoy the football. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in, man. I mean, we do this thing twice a week generally. It's only going to be once next week, later in the week. Again, I cannot stress that enough. Do not be shocked when there is no episode on Tuesday or Thursday. It's coming. Just give me a minute. I got some business to attend to, unfortunately. But usually we do this thing 2 times a week. College football on Tuesdays, NFL on Thursdays. And you can get this, most places you can find podcasts. I mean, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, if you're into that sort of thing. Go ahead, go there, subscribe, wherever you're listening to this, share it with a friend, help me grow this thing a little bit. And if you want to contact me, contact the show. First off, follow my socials, follow my Twitter at CalebVUA. Link is down in the description for that. This is disgusting what I'm doing right now, I apologize. But yeah, you can shoot me a DM on there. Or shoot me an email via unqualifiedanalysis@gmail.com. That's the address. Go ahead and do that for yourself there. And, with that said, as always, thank you so much for tuning in to Unqualified Analysis. And I've got no clue what I'm talking about. With that said, one thing I learned this week that I forgot to pull up, and you're just going to have to give me a second to get it out here. Despite urban legends to the contrary, there were no reported cases of stockbrokers throwing themselves from buildings during the Black Tuesday stock crash that rang in the Great Depression. That is an absolute myth. It did not happen, and now you know. Now you're a little bit smarter. And yes, I will see you guys next Friday for a brand spanking new episode, late night edition of Unqualified Analysis coming next Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the football. I will talk to you then. See ya.